Hi everyone, it's Mama Santee here with Politti. We are at Mama Santee's house and I wanted to introduce y'all to one of my favorite people ever, Politti. She is Mama Santee's house's tarot person and she's here today to explain to us a little bit about herself and why she got into everything she's into. And
hope you have all day.
Yes. Fun stuff. You'll be hooked. I already am. So all the outtakes, look out for that because she's just so insightful, a wonderful person. You can feel her energy, I'm sure, through the camera. I'm gonna put it out there to like the video, share, subscribe, whatever you gotta do for all that internet jazz. But so hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you? Thank you so much for
It's my
doing
pleasure.
This
It's my
is
pleasure.
super cool.
Yeah.
So, tarot.
Yeah.
What drew you to tarot? Like how long ago? How long have you been doing this for?
Okay. Well, for me, as I've been studying the occult for a long time. Let's just say that. And when I was about maybe 15 years old, maybe 16, right around there, still in high school, obviously, my mom gave me a tarot deck because in the, I don't care about my age, but in the 70s, it was like really in to just have a tarot deck lying around your house or a Ouija board or whatever. And that's kind of the environment I grew up in. Not that, my family was really into that, but she's like, I noticed that you have this interest in this kind of stuff. Here's my old tarot deck, which was a game. I guess they all kind of are games, but it was like sold as a tarot game, which is now, it's the Hoi Polloi tarot that was, it was like 1971, 1972 as far as the printing goes. And I actually have one from that time period. It's vintage. And then this deck right here too is also vintage. This is the Rider-Waite Smith deck, and this is 1972 as well. I love my vintage tarot because it just reminds me of my youth. Anyway, so she gave me that tarot deck and I was just like, I didn't know what I was doing. And back then we didn't have internet, right? We had like maybe an occult bookstore, hopefully close to you, which there was one close to me where I was growing up. And so my mom would take me occult shopping. I guess I'm really lucky for that.
That's cool.
And because it was at like in the center she liked to go to anyway. And so we would always make sure and make a little trip over there. And then, with my babysitting money and my chore money and all of that kind of stuff, I would buy like a book or I'd buy like, an incense or something like that. And so that was kind of the beginning of my journey. And then as far as tarot is concerned, I just really was drawn to it. I had no idea because the book was so vague. We didn't have the books. We didn't have the resources that we do now. So thank goddess for that, at least for current times. But it was like, it was a lot of work. If you didn't have a mentor, you basically were flying blind, right? Because honestly, the books that I had available to me, I think I had like 2 books and then the guidebook that came with the tarot cards, right? And like, I'm just like, all right, I had no idea what I was doing, but I was still kind of good at it because I understood what intuition was and I understood visually what the cards were trying to say. So over time, I developed a really beautiful relationship with tarot as far as the symbology goes and as far as the energy that I work with and the spirits that I work with when I read. And so in this, I'm not a teenager anymore. So it's like up and down life goes, right? And so doing this when I was a teenager, reading cards from my friends in high school and blowing their minds because I'm predicting their relationships and their test results or whatever. And then kind of I went a little quiet for a while as far as, I was still doing pagan stuff, let's say, but not so much tarot reading once in a while. But then I was really called again, probably about, let's see, how long ago was that? Like maybe like 10 years ago. And I was called again and literally, long story short, the original deck my mom gave me, I had given away like a dum-dum. long time ago. And I was just at work, and all of a sudden I heard this voice. It was my mom's voice, and she says, "You need to find that deck."
And so when you say called again, that's what you mean.
Yeah.
You heard.
I heard my mom's voice. Heard the calling. Heard my mom's voice. She said, "You need to find that deck." And so I went on eBay, and lo and behold, I found not the deck that she had physically given me, but the same deck, meaning the same printing. It was in mint condition, in the original box, everything. It was affordable, and I was just like, okay, I'm going to do this. And then after I I hear the message, I go online, I find it, I buy it, and then I realize it's my mom's birthday. My mom passed over 15 years ago.
Wow.
So I realized that I know, right? It was my mom's birthday, and I was like, okay, thanks, Mom, right? So anyway, I got the deck and I started working with it again, and then I just started reading a lot of books and doing a lot of tutorials online, and I basically jumped back into the whole self-taught thing. I have taken formal classes with other people, mentors, but I find that your personal experience is how you develop as a reader.
Right. So like intuition is a big deal when you are reading.
You need to understand what all these babies mean. And you need to understand the symbology, which is why I like to teach classes, because I teach about the symbology of tarot, like the symbolism that's on it, why certain things are on the certain cards, what they mean, also like the colors that are involved. And then the numbers that are involved, which is kind of like something I really love. Hence, a little plug for my numerology and tarot class coming up in a couple of weeks.
October 16th.
And so anyhow, so it's through experience. I mean, you need to read every single book you can get your hands on, period, when it comes to any divination or any system of magic. You need to learn. You need to read. Yes, you need to follow your intuition. But your intuition is there to guide, not to do it for you. You have to put in the work.
Right.
And then things become easier as you read, even though you're looking at a bunch of cards going, I don't know. That's when your intuition is going to be like, all right, here's a little carrot as to what this is about. Now you need to do the work, right? So, and that's what I'm about, is doing the work and learning.
Right. I love that. Are there any books that are all the books basically the same? Some just go a little deeper than others with the meaning and the symbology and the tarot and
I'm going to say to a point, I have some favorite books. Of course, I didn't bring them with me, but there's some where I'm a very visual person. I'm an artist. So my favorite book is The Ultimate Beginner's Tarot, I think is what it's called. It's by Liz Dean, and this is not a plug for her or her book. It's just one that really made the connection, and it's because the book is in full color. So you really can look at the card, a nice big picture of the card in full color of the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, and then she has all of the correspondences plus basic meanings, and it's a good beginner guide. And even if you're a seasoned reader or you've been reading a while, I always recommend reading the beginning books, because that's where you're going to get like the tasty little bits of things that are going to help you with your readings. Is because it's like a beginner thing that you forgot about, or like a correspondence you forgot about, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, So, and for me, it's like elemental correspondences, astrological correspondences, and planetary correspondences, and then of course number correspondences.
That's amazing. So it's a lot.
It's a lot.
All in.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Like one little card has a lot going on in it. So when you know all those things, whether you use it or not in a reading, it does help you to kind of fine tune the story that you're telling either yourself if you're reading for yourself, or the story you're telling the person you're reading for. If you take all of those correspondences into consideration, it will help create the picture that you can tell the story for.
That's cool. So I have a question, actually. So would you say, as you were growing up, do you see a lot of symbols just in your daily life?
Oh, totally. One of my favorite memories is we had a family friend when I was growing up, actually. And she loved the fact that I was such an artistic little kid. And this was like in elementary school. And sometimes she would pick me up from work if my mom had to work a little later. Pick me up from school. Did I say work?
School's work.
I guess. But pick me up from school. Anyway. And so she would always ask me, like, I really think about this a lot, is that, like, I would always point out to her, like, the clouds. Like, that looks like a dolphin. That looks like a cowboy hat. That looks like, and I'm just, I don't know how old I was, 5, 6 maybe. And she just was like, that is so incredible, because she really encouraged the artistic part of me. So even as a young age, symbolism or pictures meant everything to me. And I'm also an artist, like I draw and paint and stuff like that. And all of that just comes, like, that's something I was born with, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. And I've been artistic ever since, like, I could pick up a crayon, really.
That's amazing.
But yeah, it was just, I've always seen symbols and I take note of it. And that's part of and that's why tarot is life. Tarot is my life, because the whole system's built on symbolism. And that is so ingrained in me. Like, I see symbols and signs and everything everywhere. Like, I'm looking around the room and I can see, like, geometric stuff, like just the way things are placed in the room, and it all has meaning. So
how cool.
Yeah.
So you don't only read tarot, you have also Politti Kitty.
I do.
Can you tell us about that?
Yes. So the Politti Kitty products, and really it's like my last name's not really Kitty, it's just Kitty rhymes with Politti. And yes, I do love
I think
cats.
It's so cute.
Yes, I do love cats, but kind of the bigger reason is because a great percentage, let's say, of the sales of my products goes to cat rescue, local cat rescue, and TNR efforts, which is trap, neuter, return. So either I do it, which I have feral cats at my work that I take care of and that I've gotten fixed, and I now have another group that needs to get fixed because they just keep coming, right? But I also donate a lot to local groups who maybe don't have as big of exposure, so to speak, that need food, that need whatever. So anyhow,
right.
When you buy my stuff, which I'll point out in a second, know that it's helping cats. I'm just saying.
Right. We should just grab a few things.
So I make oils and then matching sprays. I do the candles. And these are just the items that Santee carries. I also do fixed candles. I have a whole line of tarot oils that are based on the major arcana. But for these items right here, like, these are oils, like this one right here is Fortune Teller. This one's specifically for helping you with divination. So this is actually one that I wear before I read.
It works.
I know
I
it
use
works.
it too. Not only that, like for my clients, when I'm giving a treatment to them, I will spray when they're on the table. So because they're experiencing divination and visions and what have you as well. They're getting messages.
It's also for heightening your intuition.
Yeah.
So if some people have trouble connecting with their intuition, which is totally normal, it just takes a little time. This will actually help put you kind of in that kind of whatever relaxed mental, physical state, let's say, so that you can open up, be a little more open to intuition and or messages from spirit. So so this is like one of my favorite ones. This is actually probably this one and the witch oil, which is for protection. Those are the two most popular that I have.
I love using the witch oil when I'm making candles for myself, intention candles, like when I'm preparing them.
That's what they're for. They're for anointing yourself, anointing your friends, placing around doorways, anointing candles. I use all of my oils, or I make very other specific oils for whenever I'm doing my magical workings. They're for anointing candles, anointing objects, jewelry, stones, whatever it is, placing your intention into that object and using the oil and the energy of the oil. A little side note, and then before I go to the side note, so the sprays, correspond to the oils, because some people don't like oils. And then also you can use this as a room spray, linen spray, spray it in your car, whatever you need. It's more of a kind of a quicker way if you don't have time or don't really want to anoint with oil, but they're exactly the same thing. And then the votive candles, they're blessed somewhat, and they're dressed. Let's put it that way. They're not fixed. Fixed is more intense, like for spell work, and you need to let them burn all the way down. The reason I made these is so that you can like light them for just kind of having that energy, and either let them go all the way down, or you can put them out, light them up again, put them out just as needed, and just have it like a household kind of a candle. And just the products that I make, why they're so special.
Yes.
Is that they are made on the proper day during the proper moon phase, and they are enchanted and blessed by me in their creation. They're made in small batches. So it's basically, I have like a back stock at home, and then whatever maybe Santee needs or anybody else who carries my product needs. And then like, that's it. Like I don't have like 100 oils made in storage. Like I have like probably maybe 10 right now at home that are like waiting to fill in order. So they're made in small batches, and they're made directly in the container.
Oh, neat.
Right.
Yeah.
So meaning like I don't have like a big vat and then I just pour it out
Right.
or whatever. Like I actually make it in each one, and then I bless each little individual, whatever it is that I'm making. So I think that's pretty special, and that's something that's important in magic. Is to planetary magic, to me, is like everything. And when you align that and create items and bless them during the proper day, during the proper moon phase, if you can get to the proper hour, even more powerful, but that's not always possible. As long as you have the day correct, you're good, and the moon phase correct, you're good. And also not in Mercury retrograde, unless you have a protection for that. It's just best to take a rest during Mercury. So right now I'm kind of resting,
Right.
with my stuff. So,
And they're vegan.
oh yeah,
Vegan friendly.
yeah, they're vegan friendly. I don't use any animal products. And I'm trying to think. I'm like, they're gluten free. They're soy free. Yeah. The oils are made with a fractionated coconut base, and then this is water based. These are paraffin, but it's like going around that rabbit hole of like, some people are like, oh, paraffin's so evil, but you know what? Soy is even worse, that they're finding out. And then coconut's good, but it's kind of harder to get refined for wax. And then yeah, you just kind of get, and then beeswax, because I'm vegan, I don't use beeswax.
Right.
So then you're back to paraffin. So there's that. I have never had any trouble with any of these causing any problems with my pets, or staining or soot or anything like that. So I think it's a pretty high quality candle that I use. So
Love that.
Yeah.
And so what made you decide to have a product line?
okay, man, I really hope you have all day. I got a lot of stories. So way back in the 90s, I actually had another line that I did with two friends, and it was called Moon Garden. And I used to make incenses and oils, and we used to sell at, I had a shop that carried it, who's no longer in business. And we used to sell at SCA events. Do you know what that is?
No.
Society for Creative Anachronisms. So that's
Okay.
like, they're medieval kind of like events, not like really open to the public like Renaissance Fair. It's more like, we have like two kingdoms go to war and you camp out for a weekend or a week or whatever. And my friends and I used to sell, basically, and I was the maker of the stuff.
Okay.
Like they kind of like, basically how it all worked was like, they kind of put up the capital, I kind of made everything, and then we just like split everything 3 ways, which is, at the time, it was great. And again, I used to sell it at another shop too. And it was just something that I have a thing for, well, first of all, I have a thing for Gaia. I have a thing for Selene, which is the moon. And the two of those two energies is what this is.
Okay.
It's
amazing.
creating magic with earth magic.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And the moon is kind of like the mystical component. Gaia is the provider. And then, I mean, they're sisters anyhow. And so you bring them together and you create earth-based magic, which is what these sort of candles and oils are. And it's being that I add planetary correspondences in on it by, you know, when I make it. And also I have a very secret ingredient way of blessing them, which is kind of going a little off that, but it works. And when you bring the two together, I'm filling a need. I feel like that's what kind of, I love to do it, and I've always had an interest in it, like, for quite a long time. By no means an expert, I just know stuff, okay? Because I mean, I'm a horticulturalist, I'm a CCN pro, I've studied botany, I understand the cultivar of plants, so that brings me even closer to, these are all original recipes. These are all, Politti thought of it, Politti experimented with it, Politti made it.
Right.
Nobody else is going to have stuff like this. There'll be similar names and similar, you know, uses and that sort of thing, but these are mine.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So, now I really want to get into, because you're all about magic and symbols and the goddess, and let's go there.
Me?
Let's go there.
Okay.
Let's share with everybody, the viewers, everybody online. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like it's mainstream? Do you feel like it should? What is happening? I mean, I know, like, you know.
I mean, I am happy that it is mainstream because it is time. Okay?
Okay.
However, what I wish I saw more of would be a little more discernment and a little more respect, perhaps. And the willingness to learn and know that your study is lifelong.
I love that. That's amazing. And the willingness to learn, like, you know, the teacher, do you believe like a teacher will present itself when it's time? And
I do.
Are you here to help people and guide them?
I can guide them. I'm not, I mean, currently, I mean, like I said, I've been studying this for a little bit, and I've been members of covens. I've had other teachers and stuff. I'm currently have a mentor and a teacher that's kind of upping my magic game, so to speak. And I'm very involved with that and very busy with that. So I would say, like, people who are interested, I would love to have a conversation with you and help to guide you. Right now, I'm not looking for students, but I certainly would be open to just having, you know, like, talking to you about it, giving you ideas, giving you ideas of books to read, maybe other places to visit, or, you know, classes that you can take, that sort of thing. Being that I'm teaching tarot, that's because that's my jam. But I have other classes in mind too, spellcasting classes. Wink, wink.
Okay, cool.
Wink,
yeah,
wink.
we would love,
you know,
to
magic and
have those classes
spellcasting,
here.
and just like things that you can do for yourself or for other people that are, you know, to benefit. Always to benefit, please. Always to benefit.
Right.
Okay. But yeah, so if you're asking, am I looking for students? No, I'm not. But I'm here to guide and to assist and to, you know, at least get people kind of situated on their path and then set them free and I know people who are accepting students or accepting, you know, that I can maybe guide you to.
So you could refer people
totally.
out.
I have a very close friend who is currently starting a teaching group.
Sweet.
And I'm actually a member of one of her subgroups. She's an amazing individual, and this is her calling, is to teach magic and witchcraft. Basically, she channels the goddess.
Sweet.
And all aspects of goddess.
I want to take that. Sign me up.
She's totally rad.
That's
and it's
super
like,
cool.
you know,
I would love that.
You know, she has like a Facebook group, and then I'm part of a founders subset group for another project she's working on, which is pretty rad, by the way. She's a musician, so she does a lot of vocal, a lot of singing, and it's like, like your heart just, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this girl is like, anyway.
Energy.
So if you're interested, just let us know and I can guide you to her.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So would you say for anyone who wants to take your tarot workshop or the Tarot Numerology Workshop or any of your workshops that you hold here at Mama Santee's house, do they have to have any knowledge at all?
Nope. What you need to have is an open heart and a willingness to learn and know that this is a lifelong journey. That's all that's required. And then, of course, it would help if you had a deck. I use the Rider-Waite-Smith deck because I'm very drawn to its symbology and I understand it wholly and completely. And I see something new every single time I look at a card.
Right.
I'm like looking at it right now going, oh.
Oh, look at that.
You know, or there's, and many decks are, you know, artist interpretations. They wanted to make their own deck. And I even have my own deck that I kind of did as a side project.
And can people buy that as well?
I'm working on the second edition right now.
Oh, okay, cool.
And so hopefully by Yuletide, it'll be ready.
Sweet.
It's just a lot of work. I did some revisions to the booklet and now I'm trying to just get the time together to just edit everything and then just send it off to print. It's for major arcana cards. I don't have a full 78 card deck yet. That is in the future, but I don't think it's going to be the near future. But anyway, but my point is that, you know, if you're going to take my classes, you know, I would highly recommend getting a Rider-Waite-Smith deck or there's a couple different artistic versions of this, but it's Rider-Waite-Smith. Or if you get a deck that's based on the system, which a lot of decks are, that's okay to bring to class, but the symbolism is going to be different because that's that particular artist who created that deck, that's their interpretation. Right. As opposed to look at that, the devil. As opposed to, you know, Pamela Coleman Smith, who is, the artist. That one wanted to be seen. Right. And let me tell you something.
Which one is that?
So this is beautiful. So this one wanted to be seen. So we always read the jumpers. So this is the Ace of Cups, and this is the one I was looking at previous. And this is about, basically it's following your heart's desire, people. What a beautiful message, right?
Right.
The potential of self-love, relationship love, you know, just beauty, energy, any of that beautiful, watery intuition, all of that is available to you. And if you follow your desire and follow your heart, you will get to where you need to be. So that's kind of a beautiful way to sum up everything we just talked about.
That's amazing.
Like, that's so funny that then you saw it all jump, right?
Yes. That's amazing. That part definitely when it comes, because that's what it's all about, you know, healing ourselves and following our heart, our true heart's desire. So I love that. So you can find Politti here teaching tarot. The next class coming up is a Tarot Numerology Workshop. You can find us at mamasanteeshouse.com. Sign up for the workshop. We are teaching, or she is instructing online and in person. You can sign up there. You can also follow right? They can follow you on...
I'm on Facebook.
On Facebook?
Just my personal page, Politti Ashcraft. Or also on Instagram. You can find me on Instagram, probably easier because most people are on Instagram. It's Politti Kitty. I'm the only one.
Politti Kitty. And you can find her products in Mama Santee's house as well. Yeah. So we're so excited. So thank you so much for joining us. And we love you so much.
I know.
Bye.
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 Thank you.
If I can...